traveling across some of Madhya Pradesh is fabled wild landscape. And that's bang in the middle of India, a lovely area. And it's something that I've been doing for a number of years now. So I'm going to take you on my journey, and I've got some guests to also explore these wonderful parks and talk to you about those. I've been traveling in India, running Tough Tigers as a charity for nigh on 20 years now, and I've had some magnificent experience. So I'm really aiming to come to you as a sort of travelogue, a virtual travelogue, when I will be on my bicycle and I can actually pedal my bike here, going through those lovely landscapes, showing you some lovely pictures, talking about it while I'm talking about the projects we've run, meeting some of the magnificent people I've had a pleasure to do. But we're also, importantly, raising money, because Top Tigers is a charity. We use nature tourism as our conservation tool, and that's been very successful over the last number of years to help save tigers. So we're going to talk about that and how that happens. And I've brought lots of key people in to help discuss that. So I hope you'll stay with us as we go through our travelogue. Now, let me very quickly prove to you, first of all, that I am actually a biker, a proper biker. So I can get my technology working. And here we go. And there's a picture of me in the wilds just before we started. The first time I went biking in this route about 4 or 5 years ago. And we had a fantastic time. And you can even see there I am on my bicycle. And this route is through between Pench and Kana Tiger Reserves. And it's a magnificent area. It's full of lovely forests, sort of reserve forests, as they call them, not protected areas, not national parks, but reserve forests, and also many villages and farmlands. So all the area that is fabulous to go on. And I really started in take Pench as one of my starter areas, whereas because a number of years ago, 10 years in fact, I ended up spending a lot of time here, just outside Pench, in a place called Rukar, trying to set up the first Indian Community Conservancy. And it was we actually weren't allowed to do it in the end, but it was a magnificent time for me to get to know these areas in a particularly fun and exciting and really interesting way. So I'm going to, and I'm just also going to try and prove to you, there I am in my office. You can see as I'm trying to control lots of different things in various parts of my office, but I can go around and around and give you some flavor of where we are. Now, where we are in terms of our virtual journey is really important, because here we are behind me. You see this light color, yellow is Madhya Pradesh. It's bang in the center of India. In fact, the point Nagpur is the sort of geographical center. It's where all the surveys start from. So the center of India. It's also one of the great tiger states of India. They always keep jostling for position to make sure that they are regarded as the key tiger state. And I think they've won the prize in the last year or so. So we get, just to bring you very closely, we're going to go to a part of Madhya Pradesh down in the south, what is that for you, the south eastern area of Madhya Pradesh. And where you see that little yellow star is Pench Tiger Reserve, right in the border with Maharashtra. And we're going to be journeying on my journey on my bicycle, as I am, across to Kana. So that's the forest corridor we're going, that yellow arrow. So I'm now going to introduce to you a gentleman, one of our first guests here. AJ, can you come on live, and we'll talk. Can you bring your video up? And AJ and I have got a bit of a history together, as we've known each other for 10 years, probably, AJ. And AJ is now a naturalist who spends all his time in this fantastic park of Pench Tiger Reserve. And you can see him 10 years ago there, and I'm actually, you can't see me, but I'm actually handing him a certificate. And it was a wonderful thing to do, to give him a certificate for the training that he went through to become a very exceptional wildlife guide naturalist within the park. So he would be showing all the guests around. AJ, how was that training program for you? Did you enjoy it? Was it useful?
Yeah, it was tremendous, training for us, and it was my first, very good training, which was organized by the top, and it was 2 months training. So we went to Bhopal, and there was 40, you know,
About 40
theoretical
of you, if I
program
remember
for,
rightly, or so.
sorry,
But
it was,
40 or so.
sorry,
About
sorry.
40 people or 40 of you that we trained.
Yeah, each time. So we were five guides from the bench, and we really enjoy it, and it helped a lot, especially for me. And
Yeah.
I would like to thanks to all my, the tour operators who were funding for us, and really we did, really we enjoyed, and yeah,
Very
and
good.
that was my turning point. And after getting that guide training, I came back, and uh, I became a naturalist. And
Yeah, of course. We know the story
yeah,
just continues and bits and pieces. So tell me, most of your time, if I'm correct, you would spend in something not dissimilar to this, lovely gypsy. Tell me about your sort of experiences every day. You have to go out every day into the park with.
yeah, when I became a park guide, so it was new job for me, because before that I didn't handle any guest. So when I started my career as a park guide, so first I thought it might be not good job, but when I met with the people from India, from the other country, and they are from the different background, so I love to talk with them, and I really enjoyed. And even visiting inside the forest, it completely different. And yeah, so I
No,
met
good.
with many peoples, and
Yeah, I mean, so
they
that
are,
was a kind of very enlightening for you as a guide. You suddenly, considering you're a local, you come from right the borders of Pench. You
yes.
grew up on the borders of Pench. Did you have a problem before then with the wildlife conflict that you're constantly getting herbivores eating your food crops and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. It used to be, and even this time also. So the herbal, like spotted deer, sambar, blue bull, they come out. They can jump the. There is no fence around the periphery of the
Yeah,
national park. There are some walls which was built by the rock, but they can jump it, and they come out. They eat the crops,
yeah.
and the people, they get angry sometimes.
And you as a little
But
boy had to go and sleep and to scare them away and keep them all out.
yeah. So every farmers, they have a platform. They have platform which is raised and built by the wooden. We call it machan. So one of the
Yeah,
family member, they sleep there, and they keep shouting whole night to chase away the wild animals. And
yeah,
it
of
is not
course.
easy job. Yeah,
That's really tough. So once you
yeah,
became a park guide, and you then
yeah.
could see where the spotted deer were meant to be, not in your fields, but here in the park, it suddenly changed everything. I think in terms of your view of wildlife.
Yes, definitely. That's why, when earlier people, they thought that this wildlife, wild animals, they come out and they eat. But when we became a park guide, and when we used to go inside, and after showing this is spotted deer and other animals, and we were earning the money, so our thought completely changed. So we should
Yeah, of
not,
course.
yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And
So that's what tourism is, this amazing conservation tool, and I've always said it, and it's been part of what Toft has always been about: visiting national parks, areas, putting your money into these places, paying your park fees, going to local lodges, or doing very good stuff is a really powerful conservation tool, and it's totally turned around India's conservation efforts. And AJ would be very much one of those people who've been able to prove that that's been the case, and it's a great credit to you. Now, AJ, I'm going to give you a little surprise here, because right in the background there, what can you see? What can you talk to me about there? I can just see something about
Yeah.
my head off.
Yeah, I can see that leopard, yeah, snarling and
And you
yawing,
see, so
and I can see the canines.
yeah, exactly. Pench is very well renowned for its tigers, of course, and we'll talk to our next guest about a particular favorite. But tell me about leopards. How often do you see them in comparison to tigers in Pench Tiger Reserve?
Yeah, the Pench is famous for the leopard, and we have many rocky place area inside the park, and we can see leopard oftenly, maybe uh, 4 or 5 times in a week if we
Okay.
go. Yeah, and pretty
That's
much
pretty good.
sighting.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And it's seldom,
Yeah.
you get both those two predators, or they usually kind of great competition with those two, the leopard and the tiger in the forest. So,
Yeah, so it happened actually earlier, many years ago, when I became a park guide in 2006. So Pench was mostly famous for the leopard. That time the population of the tiger was low, but as tiger population has increased, the conflict between tiger and leopard, it
yeah,
came in the exist,
yeah,
and
sure.
but still they live together. But
Yeah. Okay, good.
yeah,
And I'm
there is
just,
big competition between tiger and leopard.
yeah. It'll continue forever. As long as we give them space, they will always be fighting. AJ, I'm going just quickly to another lovely friend of ours, AJ Muscule here, and his family. And I visited. You can just see in the background there his lovely home. He's like you, probably when you were brought up on the edges of the park here, having to look after his family, but also his farmlands. He's a very good park guide himself. He won one of the top awards, or was a runner-up, I think, in one of the top award programs. So, lovely to see him. Friend of yours, you see him every day in the park, or many days in the park, I guess?
Yes. I see him almost every day in the park, and he's one of the top trained guide. Yeah. And he has good guest relation, and many guests they take him as a extra park guide, and he's doing very well. He's very knowledgeable and very supported people, and also when he's free, he go around the village and he explains to other people also.
Doing lots of training and convincing. That's why India's been very successful. We've got loads of people earn their living now of having wild tigers and wild animals in their landscape. And so he has to convince a number of other people that it's worth saving them and continue to save. So a really special job, really important job as part of being part of that local community. So fantastic. Well done, AJ. I'm going to now bring in another expert with us. So let's bring in, I'm just going to get his picture up. There he is. There's Neil Goggedy. Sorry, I can't get the picture that I wanted to bring of you. Sorry, Neil. Okay. But I'll have to try and work that out while I talk. But Neil, you based. Oops, you've gone. Where you gone?
Okay, live Neil.
Yeah, there we go. Here we go. I can give you a big photograph of yourself, but maybe that doesn't work very well. I'm gonna maybe move you straight on to something like this, which is probably more of your old passion and your soul. Because Neil is a wildlife researcher, or an ex-wildlife researcher with the Wildlife Institute of India, and he's with WWF as well, if I recall, and now he's a lodge manager. So tell me, Neil, what took you away from the sort of the field-based stuff into the lodge management side? Was there a particular awakening moment for you to do that?
So the journey has been quite interesting. I mean, while doing the research, got to know a lot of interesting facts about the tigers and the social behavior. But since I was not very much interested in only academics, I thought of working with World Wide Fund so that you can do something about conservation, because only unearthing information is not going to help. You need to come up with some treatment plan and do some execution. So that's why then I ended up joining World Wide Fund in the Satpura Michael Landscape Project. Worked there for about 5 years and then realized that yes, it was working out well, we were getting good results. But it was like, I mean, you need to replicate good results on a larger area. If you keep working in a small area, then you'll end up working there only. So I was wondering what to do. Then I realized that tourism is one platform where you get to meet a lot of bigwigs and people whose word can carry a lot of weight. So that's how I landed into wildlife tourism.
Okay, yeah. And you just
wildlife
happen
has
to
always remained in the center.
Of course, and you've always lived in the bush, which is, for lots of people is the ultimate dream. I mean, admittedly for you, you've had to split your family and they've lived with you some parts, if I'm correct. When we first met 10 years, or even maybe 12 years ago, we were in Bandhavgarh, if I recall, and we met.
That's true.
Running the Taj Safari properties there at the time.
That's true.
And so, no, lovely to have you with me. Now, I'm going to just switch back into your old role as a researcher. You spent a lot of time with another eminent tiger expert called Raghu Chandawat in Pana, so not in Pench here, but a little bit further up, still in Madhya Pradesh. And I'm going to just ask you a few questions about this wonderful picture you got behind me. It's a famous tigress in Pench, and still there. And can you just tell me what number of litters is she on now? I just can never keep up with her.
Yeah, she's a great mother. She's a great warrior and a fantastic tigress for the Pench Tiger Reserve so far. She was born in 2005 and till now she has given birth to 8 litters, totaling about 8 litters, totaling about 29 cubs. Currently she has got 3 cubs. And yes, I must say that she is a great warrior. I'm using this word great warrior because she till recent past, till about 6 to 8 months ago, maybe about a year ago, she was holding one of the most resource-rich area of Alikatta, which if you look at the Pench Tiger Reserve map, that's the core area, that's the center, heart of the Tiger Reserve. And she has
bang in the middle of the tourism zone.
Yes. Not only that is the heart of the Tiger Reserve also. So where there is a good amount of water, very high prebase and extremely high level of protection. And this area she has been holding for since almost 2009, 2010. So it's a remarkable achievement for a tigress to hold such a resource-rich area. And she has been facing a lot of competition from her maybe siblings or maybe her
cubs. Because usually they divide their territories up and allow their daughters and their daughters from other litters to take bits of her territory. But she's always remained. And it just so happens the Pench is incredibly rich in herbivores. So it really helps that she can sustain that number.
Imagine when she's raising about 3 cubs, 4 cubs, and 2010 she gave birth to 5 cubs, and all 5 cubs they reached to the maturity.
That's the picture right there.
Correct. So they reached to the dispersal age and then they disperse. So her contribution to the Pench Tiger Reserve's success is immense.
That's just the most amazing story. Now, I believe, and you tell me if I'm correct here, that one of the great reasons why she's been able to keep that territory is actually because of the male who has been the father for the vast majority of those litters. Would that be the case? Am I mistaken? That the fact that he can guard her, look after her, and keep her in that area is a pretty important part.
No. That's not the reason. I mean, it is completely her own achievement to hold that territory for so long. I mean, she has been brave. She has been fiercely, fighting battle with her, and she has been pretty strong. So the males usually would guard the cubs only to certain age. Okay. As long as the cubs they don't disperse, he will be guarding them. And beyond that age, beyond dispersal age, even the male cubs, they will be his enemy. So male would never protect any female and help her in fighting her territory.
Oh, right. Okay. I had assumed because he was so dominant that he would keep others out, and therefore they wouldn't necessarily come conflict in that sort of way. So that was the sort of basic idea. Because when I looked at the sort of stud book, effectively, there was a single male that would appear to be the kind of dominant male for about 4 or 5 of those.
Yeah, I would say that if there is no human intervention, when I say human intervention, if the park authorities they come across any injured male, there is a tendency to go and help and give medication to that animal, because we are in such a stage where every tiger counts for us. But if that kind of intervention is not done, on an average for a tiger reserve like Pench, a male would hold a territory for about 3 to 5 years, not more than that. Yeah, there will be so much pressure on him from all quarters to vacate that area, because other males would like to come and breed with the existing females.
Yeah, and that's what happens a lot. I mean,
Yes.
an amazing tigress who's basically helped put Pench on the map, not only on the map, but helped increase from a very, very low base. And only 20 years ago, we were counting it in the very low numbers, 2s, 3s, 4s in the whole area. And now we're looking at what sort of numbers do they think the sort of Pench landscape has within it in terms of tiger numbers?
Right now, the Pench tiger reserve, there are about 55 to 60 tigers overall.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that,
yeah, it's quite.
She started 29 of those or something similar. They all lived to adulthood.
And it's all due to the very high abundance of the spotted deers. Like yesterday, Aniruddha was mentioning the 66 spotted deers per square kilometer. It's a very high density. If you talk about the total number, it's of more than 50,000 spotted deers in entire tiger reserve. So it's very high.
If I'm correct, the forest department is actually taking spotted deers out of here and repopulating other parts like Satpura and stuff to help increase the prey base.
Yes. I mean, that way I would say Madhya Pradesh Forest Department has been very, very proactive. Last 10, 15 years, they have been doing all sorts of experiments. I mean, before that, I would say there was a tendency to just sit by the fence and provide protection and do the management and really do not adopt the positive the model of conservation. But since the last 10, 15 years, they have started moving all different species. As and when they get any opportunity, they just keep doing that, which is a good thing.
No, it's fantastic. Now, Neil, I'm going to bring you on to the last bit here as we're getting to run out of time. Now, Neil happens to run this lovely place called Jamtara Lodge on the northern area of this. Tell me a little bit about Jamtara. It's been around 3 or 4 years. No, probably more than that now, isn't it? How long?
I just completed 4 years in Jamtara now. Time flew like anything. I mean, I came here with an intention to stay for 2 years, but 4 years I completed and I'm still on. So it's a fantastic place to work.
Yeah. And it's a lovely lodge to stay at. It's right on the borders. You get lots of animals coming through it.
Correct. I mean, this is the only lodge other than the Pench Tree Lodge. And yes, this is our USP. We call it Starbed. The guests can come and sleep here, and it's located on the edge of the forest in the field. So what Ajay was mentioning, the people, they sit in the machan and keep beating vessels and keep shouting to move. I mean, shoo away the wild ungulates. The guests can sit here, but without shouting, they can enjoy and experience the nightlife of the jungle and also do the fantastic stargazing.
The picture doesn't look like it, but it's quite high off the ground. So
it's about 25 feet high. So it's completely safe. And I must tell you that we never leave any guest unguarded. Always one of our staff member, he sleeps close by, maintaining the privacy distance, and he will be there to assist them all the time.
Good. Yeah, so I'm really interested in this because there's another way of getting communities involved. Because if I'm correct, the money from using this starbed goes back to the local community. So that's part of the sustainable travel, responsible travel stuff that we're trying to promote as an organization. And I give you a little, on the corner up there, you'll see a little logo. And of course, that PUG certification is a really important part of saying these guys are eco-friendly, they're doing it all the right stuff. And Toft, if you want to go and go enjoy many of these places, always look for the PUG as part of that, because that gives your clients or yourself as a traveler the joy of knowing that your money is going to the right places, is supporting local communities, supplying local jobs. It's all really critical for keeping that wildlife in its wilderness, and that's really a great boon. So I'm just going to give you a couple more examples that we have in these lovely areas. This is the Pench Treehouse Lodge, which is another fabulous, right in trees, mahoe trees. It's also another lovely place. There's another place called Riverwood. So you've got quite a lot of choice. And they're all pug certified, as I mentioned. Tashatu is another area which is more as a resort, very good for families and that sort of thing, if you want to bring your families. And then you've got another place which you would know probably quite well, Neil, which is Bhagwan. And Bhagwan is one of the first real lodges in Pench.
This was the second lodge. I mean, first lodge started in Bandhavgarh. This was in February 2007.
That's the second of Taj, but it was one of the first in Pench, if I remember right.
That's true.
And so another, beautiful, very luxury. So you can be very comfortable. You can do camping stuff. You can do it, and not luxury, but these are all exceedingly good, eco-rated lodges and for which to stay. So I'm very delighted to have both of those two guests on today. Thank you very much, Neil. What a joy.
Pleasure is mine.
Big thanks for being part of that. Just want to say to everybody that actually we as I bicycle through this landscape virtually, we're also looking to raise money specifically for these destinations, specifically for some of those people who now have a big problem because tourism is not going to come back for a few more months. The parks are being closed now. They have been closed for a few months. There's a lot of livelihood issues that are happening, and we'd love to raise some money for them. So get out your wallets, help us to raise some of the money through the charity here in the UK, and we'll move it across to where it's needed. You can also download, if you want to travel there, you can download the guidebook off our Tough Tigers website. It's a lovely way, 28 destinations around India to enjoy and luxuriate in with your binoculars. So next tomorrow, same time, hopefully we won't have so many technical issues, but we're off to travel between the two tiger reserves. It's the corridor, and I'll be talking with the ex-Chief Wildlife Warden of Madhya Pradesh, a guy called Dr. Pabla, a real charm and a friend, and also D.V. Kapil, another forest officer that I spent many months with on that my conservancy. So thank you very much, everybody. Sorry about the technical issues at the start.
No worries.
See you tomorrow.
Pleasure is ours.
Cheers, Neil. Hey, Jay. Nice coming to you.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Debs, are we done?
We're done.
Can you switch off?
I'm just going to top the recording.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, then